in. It is 26th of September, and also continuing here at the Feast of Sukkot, Feast of Tabernacles. And this is symbolic of in the past when God delivered Israel out of the hand of Egypt, and they dwelt in tents for 40 years when they were wandering in the desert. And also in the future, Jesus will be dwelling with us for the 1,000-year reign and also for eternity after the New Jerusalem comes down and we are with him forever. Jesus was also born on the first day of the Feast of Tabernacles, which was the first great day. And he was also circumcised on the last great day, day number 8. So we're continuing in Mark chapter 5 tonight. And there's some pretty cool stories here and miracles that he does. Verse 1. And they came over unto the other side of the sea, into the country of Gergasheim. And when he was come out of the ship, immediately there met him out of the tombs a man with an unclean ruach, who had his dwelling among the tombs, and no man could bind him, no, not with chains, because he had been often bound with fetters and chains, and the chains had been plucked asunder by him, and the fetters broken in pieces. Neither could any man tame him. And also, day and night, he was in the mountains and in the tombs, crying and cutting himself with stones. But when he saw Yahusha afar off, he ran and worshipped him. And he cried with a loud voice and said, What have I to do with you, Yahusha, son of El-Elyon? I adjure you by Yahweh, that you torment me not. For he said unto him, Come out of the man, you unclean ruach. And he said to him, What is your name? And he answered, saying, My name is Legion, for we are many. And he besought him much that he would not send them away out of the country. Now there was nigh unto the mountains a great herd of swine feeding, and all the devils besought him, saying, Send us into the swine, that we may enter them. And forthwith Yahusha gave them leave. And the unclean ruach went out and entered into the swine, and the herd ran violently down a steep place into the sea. They were about 2,000, and they were choked in the sea. And they that fed the swine fled, and told it into the city, and into the country. And they went out to see what it was that was done. And they come to Yahusha, and to see him that was possessed with the devil, that had the legion, sitting and clothed, and in his right mind, and they were afraid. And they saw it, and they told him how it befell them who was possessed with the devil, and also concerning the swine. And they began to pray to him to depart out of their coasts. And when he was come into the ship, he that had been possessed with the devil prayed that he might be with him. Howbeit Yahusha suffered him not, but said unto him, Go home to your friends, and tell them how great things Yahweh has done for you, and had compassion on you. And he departed and began to publish in Decapolis how great things Yahusha had done for him, and all men did marvel. And when Yahusha had passed over again by the ship on the other side, how much people gathered unto him, as he was nigh unto the sea. And behold, there came one of the rulers of the synagogue, Jair by name. And when he saw him, he fell at his feet, and besought him greatly, saying, My little daughter lies at the point of death. I pray you, come, lay your hands on her, that she may be healed, and she will live. And Yahusha went with him, and much people followed him and thronged him. And a certain woman, which had an issue of blood 12 years, had suffered many things of many physicians, and spent all that she had, and was nothing bettered, but rather grew worse. When she had heard of Yahusha, she came in the press behind, and touched his garment. For she said, If I may touch but his clothes, I shall be whole. And straightway the fountain of her blood was dried up, and she felt in her body that she was healed of that plague. And Yahusha, immediately knowing in himself that virtue that had gone out of him, turned him about in the press, and said, Who touched my clothes? And his Talmudim said unto him, You see the multitude thronging you, and you say, Who touched me? And he looked around about to see that her had done this thing. But the woman, fearing and trembling, knowing what was done in her, came and fell down before him, and told him all the truth. And he said unto her, Daughter, your faith has made you whole. Go in peace, and be whole of your plague. And while he spoke, he came there from a ruler of the synagogue's house, which said, Your daughter is dead. Why trouble the master any further? And as soon as Yahushua had heard the word was spoken, he said unto the ruler of the synagogue, Be not afraid, but only believe. And he suffered no man to follow him except Kepha and Jacob and Yahuchanan, the brother of Jacob. And he comes to the house of the ruler of the synagogue to see the tumult, and them that wept and wailed greatly. And when he was come in, he said unto them, Why make ye this ado, and weep? The damsel is not dead, but sleeps. And they laughed him to scorn. But when he had put them all out, he takes the father and the mother of the damsel, and them that were in with him, and entered where the damsel was lying. And he took the damsel by the hand, and said unto her, Talitha cumi, Damsel, I say unto you, arise. And straightway the damsel arose and walked, for she was the age of 12 years. And they were astonished with great astonishment. And he charged them straitly that no man should know it, and commanded them that they should give something to eat. Now, there's a couple of things in this chapter that are pretty cool to point out. Firstly, the legion, when he cast out the 12 devils, or the 2,000 devils, that is, he sent them into the pigs. And I just thought that was interesting that Jesus would send the evil spirits into an unclean animal, and then after that, that they would run it off into the sea and die. The second thing is here, when the woman had an issue of blood, and she was touching his garment, and was made whole of her blood disease, that the piece of garment that she touched was his tzitzit. And I just think that's really cool, because there's a prophecy, I believe it's in Psalms, that talks about him coming with healing in his wings. And when he would walk, his tzitzits would fly around, kind of like wings. So there's a prophecy fulfilled right there. And then this ruler of the synagogue, he had such great faith in Jesus that all he did was basically just come up to him and say, Hey, if you will that my daughter will live, then she will live. And that's really strong faith in somebody that, yeah, he probably had seen some of Jesus' miracles, and at that point he was ready to commit to him. But just to see that is really neat. So here I am in the middle of my tent. It's day number 3 of Sukkot, and I'll be enjoying some time out here, eating dinner and praying, and just thinking about how Jesus did so much for me. He will do for you also. Shalom. Have a good night. We'll see you again.